Thanks for tuning in, sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back if you have. My intention is unity and oneness and the highest levels of love light. I'm just going to go into a little car flow. I haven't done one in a while, and we'll just kind of see what comes through as I kind of traverse the earth. So a little light language and messages from my team. Big inhale, tutulene kila ahanati, lahat ukunini lahai nati mahala. Melehena amakolehet inhe, tila ahok unheti laha, yistelehene kuat inhele awaha. Nek iri elehe makolehet inhe, bikini laha anawaha. And as we move in this way, as we speak in this way, as we begin to make certain adjustments in the way that we speak, in the patterns that we represent, that we have come into representation of. Guys, a lot of this is just a play on words. How can we express in this dialect that which it is we are expressing? For as we move in this vibratory frequency, as we ring this energy, so we bring this energy through, as we allow the sounds to listen, to ring true for us, we feel into the dialogue. We begin to tap into the inner dialogue and inner truth that we are all reflecting from within. Ishtukoi niti mawahet ikinehewa nikushteneheb a nekiwa aduhene kiwaha enishtukoyana. We begin to open to a different, I'm hearing a differentiation, a differing set of recognition patterns that allow us to reset the habitual patterns that many of us have been tuned into, that many of us have tuned to, that many of us have turned to, that many of us are in the process of turning away from, if you will. As I say turning away from, I'm seeing a wave form. I'm seeing like changing forms, recognizing different patterns and reflections and different forms of communication. And this isn't just about the light language or the ancestral DNA, ancestral communication. This is sound, it's vibration, right? We're tuning into these other frequencies and vibrations that we have access to. And many of us are being called into this period of deeper self-reflection, deeper self-awareness as we migrate from one perspective. And I'm hearing transmigration as we allow ourselves to move through these patterns of disconformity, of disharmony. We begin to recognize the harmony that holds all things together, the network that is behind the discord, the true chords that are streaming through our consciousness, that are streaming through the subconsciousness, the substrata, the sub-layers that are held within the deeper folds of our ergonometric, play on words, electric, dielectric forms and waveforms of deeper communion. So as I'm saying this, I see so much. Getting emotional. Spindles and fibers. It looks like fiber optics. It looks like these beautiful sparks of interconnectivity, of electricity, I'm seeing colors and vibrance and waves that are this web, spider web. And as I say spider web, I'm being reminded about the electromagnetism that spiders respond to and what they use for liftoff. And I'm hearing dandelion and ook. So as I'm saying this, what I'm seeing is this liftoff, which I'll go into another video to describe what I've been shown over and over again when we have these massive bursts of what I'm hearing are gamma burst radiations that essentially change the polarization, the pole sets, the pole realization. Ewae timiki newa ishtuwe akutinia bikuniti ishtukuma adnineki bakutinehewa nishtuwa ba waitiki wan utnukune manatiti. For there is a deeper portal that we are commingling, communing with right now, that we are in the process of seeing, the process, the proceeds. And as we hear this deeper call, I'm hearing Call of the Wild, and it reminds me of Jack London, the author, and the deep communion with Mother Nature, and this deep remembrance of what we are behind all the static. I'm seeing static electricity, and I'm hearing Klingon, and I'm just seeing this charge that's moving through the atmosphere. And that's a play on words because it's not just the atmosphere, it's all layers. And I wrote about this in what I wrote recently called Soma, subtropic, subontropic, and I recognize I haven't decoded all of that, but there's a layer, a sub-layer, and we could say that it's almost like, have you guys ever seen the movie, this is popping into my head, Ant-Man, but I don't know if that's what it's called, where he goes into the subatomic, he becomes micro, but it's deeper, deeper, deeper. And then it goes into the space of literally the seed, the womb, the void. And from that sound that's connected to all of us, we are accessing, A-X-I-S, and accessing this deeper point in the scale of harmonic, and I'm just going to play with these words, intropolization, intertroping, intropolization, but this is a play on words, polization. What I'm being shown is a rod that's being spun, but this isn't to incite, if that's even the right word, fear, because many people are plugged into a particular subset, if you will, bubble within a bubble of reality, that holds a certain tremor within it of truth, yet it also is creating a tremor within the truth-filled community. So we are being called to access this deeper layer of divinity, this spark, if you will, that ignites a reunification with our adaptability. Play on words, the adept, the depths, the deep. Adaptability. And this changes our configuration in all ways. When I say that, I'm seeing all directions, the way in which we do things, understand things, interpret things, access things, and all ways, like in time, always. For we are moving in a different motion. I'm hearing, don't rock the boat, baby. I don't even know if those are the lyrics, but... And I'm hearing King Tut. This ripples out into the sacred the sacred secretions, the sacred geometry, the sacred makuneshdewa titikimewa unewa at ushtena, the sacred tree. I'm hearing the secret tree. I'm hearing the sacred tree. I'm seeing the secretions in the body, the secrets that we know. Sorry, I had to pause for a moment. It branches out into all things. And if we think of the divine implications that this is, I'm hearing embarking us on. Ooh, again, reference to the tree. Embark means a journey, having to do with possibly serious, because I think of the dog star, embark. For there are many codes that we carry within this geometric configuration of communication. And as we allow ourselves to communicate with all of the different fonts, the signature frequencies, the wave fronts, we allow ourselves to work through the comic distortions. And I'm hearing cosmic distortions, but it's really comic, like it's comical and comic, play on words. This holds within it this system, this portal, this subset, if you will, this deeper configuration, this deeper layer, holds within it so much. This is a reference again to what I was talking about in my Soma video that I'm still decoding. Thank you everybody who's helped me with that. I appreciate you. And as we open up to this deeper subtropic layer, I'm hearing the Caduceus. We allow ourselves to transduce and move through a fluid capacity. And I'm hearing standstill. So you guys, I'm just weaving in and out of different forms of communication here. And it takes me into different dimensional messages. And so some of the messages I'm tuning into have to do with the layers of earth. Some of what I'm seeing obviously has to do with the body, cosmic, galactic, all of it's connected. And essentially somehow what's happened is we've increased our bandwidth, is what I'm hearing, the bandwidth, our value, the signature frequency that we are all putting out there. I'm seeing Dumb and Dumber. I'm just gonna stand over at the bar and put out the vibes. And I'm seeing the orange suit that he's wearing. Oh my goodness, you guys. I'm just seeing, play with this, be silly. The more comic relief we can have with everything that's going on, the better. And what I'm also seeing, that's a play on words, because a lot of what we're watching is comical if we can see what it's really all, a lot of it's a game in a very distorted reality we're in the process of uplifting. And I'm hearing this, there's the idea that this takes time, but from another perspective, it doesn't. And so that's another video. But what I'm seeing is, so the reference, I'm being called to go back to Dumb and Dumber. So the orange suit, the silliness of it all, but also the vibes. So and I'm hearing the Ruffles. Oh my gosh, if you guys have ever seen Dumb and Dumber, it's pretty stupid, and I love that movie, but basically the ruffles on their suit, I'm being called to focus on that, because we're ruffling the feathers of our DNA, and we're sending it out in ripples. And if you look at the shape of a ruffle, it's waves. And it's being sent out in all directions, not just the four corners of the earth, but all directions. And I'm seeing it, there's a picture that I shared that has to do with constructive interference. Again, I'm not a scientist, but I have to go back and look at what it's called, because I can't remember the name of it. But there's a plane that when it's bent, when it rounds more, it sends out the signals in multiple directions. So it's coming through in one direction, but then when it hits that plane and it moves through the membrane, it goes out in all directions. And I'm just laughing because I'm seeing 4484 in front of me and double threes. So fun. Okay. So it disperses. It's what's happening is it's a bigger disbursement. So whether or not we want to acknowledge it, it's important for us to feel this is a big vibratory frequency induction chamber of orchestration. And it's a carrier wave. So what's happening is it's carrying us farther than we've ever been before from one perspective. And this is increasing. So when I said increasing our value but our value has to do with the golden mean. And I always call it golden means, plural, but I think it's just golden mean. It's increasing our fluidity, okay, I'm hearing marketability. Now, I've written about this before, but that's a play on words as well. Marketability. So, you guys, the energies that are coming in for me right now are so strong. My whole body is like, so we invite you to ride these waves to the best of your ability, interacting in your own nobility. For as you crown, seeing birthing, again, birthing something new, but I'm also seeing crowning ourselves, like taking back our power, putting the energy, making the connection between as above, so below. So we have to be the ones to reach out, touch faith, and move through this depression. So there is a depression. This has to do with physics. It's not just what a lot of people are experiencing. It feels depressed because we are being pressed into a different form, and it can feel awkward and uncomfortable. And what I'm hearing is it's highly contagious. The light is catching. So this is improving our immune systems. It's improving our ability to stabilize our own communication with ourselves. And we're essentially kind of we're changing the face of humanity from one perspective, through an organic directive, through an organized, ergonomic, I'm seeing origami, folding in different planes. And as I say planes, I'm literally seeing the platonic solids and the body having medial, lateral, like the different planes of the body. And then I'm also seeing that having to do with flight patterns. And I'm hearing it changes the points on the map. So this is going to be one of those videos I'm going to have to go back and kind of play with here. And maybe draw up what I'm being shown. So we could look at this as if, again, I'm not an astrology person per se. I don't, now the card in front of me is 404. You guys know my 4s and 8s. 404 not found. This puts us on different points on the map, literally. And it points us in so many different directions that this idea that we have of, it's beyond, there's so many implications that are associated with what we're going through right now that it's just massive. Again. Whew. Okay. I just saw a Gemini trailer and something about angry moon. I'm just in it. Kiwa it imakushtenik wanet eshtenik imak utitine. Kumai pawait ishtu wakunat imakunewa. So as we allow this to move us into the next creative frequency, Soma. Let's dip back in just for a moment. I'm going to end on this note and just kind of end with a little light language. Nula apuk unele het ishtur ahat ek hak ora. Dilahat ur mahat estuk ur mahat inik hak ora. Bik hayat an ak urhat ishtur mahat et ek ar ura. And I'm just hearing we are all heightened at this point, our sensitivity, our interconnectivity, our connection with earth. And I'm hearing we are all heightened aho. So we're bridging this, we're creating a wormhole from what I was shown. You could look at it as a, what do they call it, a rose bridge. I was shown literally like the bridge from Thor, the rainbow bridge. And it's essentially, so many of us don't believe what we're being told when it's not true. So it's like we are truly making a massive change, and we're really being called to fine tune and feel into, play on words, the adjustments that our body is under the process of up leveling through. And this, again, the more we can find our own center, the more we stabilize this, the more we ableize it. This is what and obviously it's a play on words. The more we enable ourselves to work with these codes, work with these activations and realizations and ahas, and be in that space as much as we can, especially this week. This could be obviously ongoing, but especially right now. Again, not everybody's conscious of what's happening, but they are going through things, and we can help through our consciousness support one another just by being conscientious about it with each other, compassionate. So in love and light, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in and sharing in this message, and namaste.